Hey, David here. Um, I, I've had a bit of a sassy day, um, writing chunks that have got sass in them, and I feel really silly, and hence my sparkly ears. I think it actually does sparkle. um, I had this sort of realization recently, it's been building for a while, where I spent my whole life people telling me I'm not girly enough. You know, my dad used to always say, "That's not very ladylike," and I'm like, so? I never wanted to be ladylike, and everyone kept like policing my not ladylikeness. And now that I'm sort of going in the other direction, trying to figure out where I fit, where I'm comfortable, I keep getting sort of random comments about not manly enough, and it's like, dude, at first I thought, oh, here we go again, and I started trying to conform, and I've got that, you know, brown shirt, and then I've been realizing lately, it's like, why would I want to? Why would I want to trade one lot of, gender moderation and nagging and bullshit comments for another? I spent my whole life listening to other people telling me that I'm not good enough, you know, and all I've ever wanted is just someone to see me as I am. And so I've been sort of very sassy today, and it was sort of rolling in my head while I was writing, and I thought, you know what, screw it. I want to just wear whatever I want to wear. I want to wear my dumbass Rambo hat, or I have this delightful pink unicorn shower cap that my mum bought me for Christmas, which I believe on Patreon I used as a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year sort of thing, with my awesome new cup, which actually I have. Don't let the muggles get you down. I'm sick and tired of people telling me what I'm allowed to wear, you know, who I'm allowed to be, because they're uncomfortable with anything else. It's like, well, screw their discomfort, screw their confusion, and I'm sick and tired of, I don't have to prove anything to be who I am. I don't have to. This actually is partially related to another option, another thing, because I tend to meet thoughts together from lots of different ideas and bring them together, and they look like the same thing to me. Apparently not a lot of other people do this, so I get told that, no, that thing isn't like this thing, and I'm like, yeah, it is. In this particular context, yeah, it is, and they never listen. But I keep being told that something about me is a reason why I'm not worthy of something. Like, being fat means I'm not worthy of healthcare, because, I chose to be fat. I chose to be severely abused and develop an eating disorder that involved overeating as an addiction. I'd actually get more sympathy, more support, more acceptance if I was an alcoholic or heroin addict. Because, oh my gosh, a fat person is such a horrible thing. So I've been told so many times that I don't deserve this, and I don't deserve that, and I don't deserve this, and how dare you think you're worthy of sex? Not that I'm particularly interested in sex, but because being fat means I'm not allowed to have sex, I'm not allowed to be attractive, I'm not allowed to be happy, I'm not allowed to be smart, I'm not allowed to have health care, I'm not allowed to have human decency, because I'm fat. And it's like, lots of things in my life are like that. People get abusive towards me because of something about me that they view as being less. Um, like several years, shit, probably 20 years ago, this dude was just talking out of his ass. He was being a bigot and ignorant and just thick. And I, being probably quite Asperger's in this particular context, went, what you just said was racist, and it's ignorant because of this scientific thingy that proves that what you're believing is wrong. You might want to, educate yourself. And he threatened to rape me, to put me in my place, because how dare someone with tits tell a man what to do? And I mean, it was really scary at the time. I was so scared I actually literally forgot it because I couldn't process it. It took like 10 years for it to process back to my forward brain so I could process again. But it was all because he viewed owning a vagina as meaning you're not even worthy of having an opinion. How dare you own a vagina and have an education, have an opinion, correct the great and wondrous white man, because he was also a white man and a straight man and actually a creeper. I'm pretty sure if the word incel existed 20 years ago, we would have labelled him. Big stamp on his forehead. And I keep getting that sort of response. I'm being myself, and someone says something shitty and tells me that I don't deserve, body autonomy or a nice life or healthcare or food. Apparently I'm supposed to be thankful for not getting enough money on the invalid's benefit, for being disabled, because I deserve to starve. So I should be thankful for what I get. I should be thankful that I'm not in the US, because if I was in the US, I'd probably be dead, but if I wasn't dead, I'd be on the streets. So apparently I'm supposed to be thankful for that, and accept the fact that I don't deserve food, I don't deserve electricity, I don't deserve warmth, or a dry house, or transport, or, life of any wondrousness. And I'm sick of it. I'm sick of little pricks telling me that because I'm not like them, I don't deserve anything. I'm particularly sore about the "you're fat, you don't deserve healthcare" thing, because I didn't actually choose to become obese. It happened in combination with a lot of different things. 99% of it completely out of my control. I did not control the fact that my girly bits wanted to produce too much testosterone and too much estrogen, so therefore I could not lose weight. I did not choose to be born with a spine where the L5 vertebra was mashing into the pelvis and then slipping back so that I could barely use my legs. But just before I got my spinal surgery, I couldn't use my right leg. I was dragging it around with me, pretty much. And somehow that's my fault for not being able to exercise. I developed a food addiction because I was mercilessly abused from various different points of views, different kinds of abuse. So, oh no, I'm an addict to food and energy drinks, well, caffeine. I'm somehow deserving of not having healthcare because I was a victim of abuse and, all the other horror stories which I don't really want to talk about right now. The blame, the ha, you're fucked up, let's tell you you're allowed to suffer, or ha, you're poor, or ha, you're not straight, or ha, you're not beautiful. It's really odd, people get this idea that if you're not like them, you're not like the little tiny boxes that society puts everyone in or demands that people jump in, you're suddenly not worthy of anything. So I'm not allowed to be a woman because, well, I'm not a woman, but I wasn't ever treated with any respect because, firstly, they thought I was a woman and they were misogynistic, or secondly, women would tell me I was a horrible person for being fat, for being short, for not wearing makeup, for not being beautiful, for not wearing dresses and short skirts and allowing people to touch me how they wanted to. You know, I got bullshit from both angles. You know, from all angles. I've been told my whole life that one thing or another means that I don't deserve a life. You know, I've had people tell me that it's all my fault that I'm poor. No, I'm poor because I'm disabled and I can't work a full-time job, and our country doesn't put enough, it doesn't put the welfare level at a livable level. They don't even do it for disabled people. I mean, let alone actually, you know, unemployed people who've just lost their job or whatever. Poor people don't deserve to eat, apparently. You know, and poor people don't deserve health care because all the rich people get the real health care and we spend months and months and years waiting. It took me 6 years to convince my bloody surgeon to do my back surgery. If he'd done it back 6 years ago, or 7 years ago now I guess, I wouldn't have been in so much pain. I could have lost the weight. Well, I probably couldn't have because of the hormonal problem with all of the gynecological problems. But I could have bloody well tried, you know? I could have tried a lot harder because I could have been able to move more. But no, apparently being fat is all my fault. And I get really bitter and angry about it. But you know what? I'm pretty much at the stage of doing the fingers, which is this, and making a joke of it. Wearing sparkly cat ears in defiance to any definition of gender that someone wants to apply to me. So what, I've got sparkly cat ears. That doesn't mean I'm not masculine or gender neutral or nothing or whatever. In fact, I really actually quite dislike gender labels because they always limit people. You're not allowed to just be yourself. You have to be a girly girl or a jock or there's silly manly men that are like 10 times 10 billion freaking muscles everywhere. I mean, why do you want to look like that? What's the point in complying to stereotypes that to comply to them, you are slowly killing yourself? I mean, I knew this girl in school. She was beautiful, like supermodel beautiful. And I used to be jealous of her because she got all the attention and the few crushes I had at school, the boy crushes, well, crush, full stop, one, a singular, I really only had one or two boy crushes at school, loved her, wanted to be with her, or, you know, followed her around like dumbass puppies. And the girls that I crushed, there was a lot more girls than there were boys, followed her around and wanted to be her best friend, and I thought she was awesome. I thought, cool, you know, if I was that pretty, I'd get, you know, some attention from the awesome people that I like. But I found out later, she was fucking anorexic. She was eating, like, tea and, I think it was green tea and soup for years and years and years. Her period had stopped. She was that unwell physically that her period had stopped. She didn't sleep. And she spent the whole time pretty much neurotic and miserable. And I remember when I found out, I thought, that's not worth it. Why would anyone think that level of pretty much dying is worth being beautiful? Same with, you know, the big muscly men. You know, cisgender men tend to get all obsessed with muscles and penis sizes, and they maim themselves just to fill this ideal of like Hercules or whatever. And that's not, you know, men, when they bodybuild and stuff, if they get too serious and they take too much testosterone and they do this and they do that, they actually become unable to have sex. They have no fun. They get just as neurotic. And it's for this arbitrary beauty that doesn't exist. Why is it that some rich idiot in the fashion world goes, oh yes, this season bright green is in fashion, and everyone's like, yes sir, no sir, 3 bags full sir, you know, and you know, this season the woman will be 1 size smaller, and that will be, you know, beautiful, and anyone bigger will be obese. You know, you're telling girls who are like size 8, size 10, which are, unless you're really, really, really short and slight, is basically starvation mode, that they're fat, and that fat is bad, again, is another problem. There's all these obsessions with all of those sort of standards and rules, and you have to be this to be a girl, and you have to be that to be a boy, and if you're anything but those things, you're demented or deviant, or all those other ridiculous words that they use for people that are othered. And it's all artificial, you know, it's not even real. You know, there's these kids who are dying to try and fit into these labels, to look like these people who aren't even real. Like, I mean, obviously models are real, but they get photoshopped, or they stop eating. You know, they're so unhealthy that they're dying, essentially. And there's these kids who are just, they're dying to fit these boxes, and these boxes aren't even real. They're just arbitrary. Some rich prick somewhere overseas goes, I want to see a size -1. You know, I mean, I've never understood fashion. I've never understood boxes. I've tried. I tried for a really long time to find myself in some of the boxes. You know, even if the box I was complying to was, you know, the opposite of this box, you know. I mean, not having makeup, not doing my hair pretty, all that sort of stuff protected me from a lot of sexual assault and harassment. I mean, it didn't stop everything, but it halved a lot of it. So I deliberately didn't comply to keep myself safe. But most of the time I was just trying to find me, some semblance of me, in the world, and the expectations that the world kept trying to put on me. And I chose to pursue transition with the hope that I could actually be me. And I keep ending up, people keep telling me that I need to fit their boxes. You know, I can't ever be a man because I don't have a penis. Well, if a dude got his bits chopped off, he'd still be a dude, right? That means, literally, that gender is actually more than your bits. And the definition of gender being just your bits anyway is so limited. I don't understand why people are so obsessed with their rules. You know, these arbitrary rules that have no basis in reality. They're just, you know, like the pink and the red thing. You know, boys have blue, pink and red, pink and blue. Boys have blue and girls have pink. It's arbitrary. It was made by a bunch of marketing firms, you know, people selling kids' clothes, I believe. Colours aren't gendered. But because some person in the, I can't even remember the region, I haven't read it and it's late at night now, I haven't read it for a while and it's late, I can't remember. But just because some marketing campaign ages ago, before I was born, before probably most people who care about fashion were born, decided that girls have to have pink and boys have to have blue, we're now doing that. And we're obsessed like it's absolute fact, you know? It's like shaving your legs. Do you know they didn't shave legs? Women didn't shave legs. They didn't shave armpits. They might have probably done facial hair, but maybe not. It's only because some razor company had too many razors and said, let's put pink on these and sell them to women. And they made an ad campaign that said, you know, if you've got hairy legs, ew. And we got brainwashed. It has absolutely nothing to do with hygiene. People assigned female at birth, we don't have different germs, you know, oh no, armpit hair. We don't have different germs that are somehow, you know, the triggering of bubonic plague, you know. It's the same bloody germs. It's the same sweat cells. Yes, testosterone does tend to make the sweat smell a bit worse, but you see, there's the point. Dudes are more likely to be gross, like gross, I mean, with bacteria and stuff. But dudes are allowed to not have hairy armpits. But no, if women dare to have any hair on their body other than on their head, they're disgusting. You know, it's bullshit. It's bollocks. It's just a bunch of dumbass jock kids, teenage and high school and bloody first year university students, thinking that because they don't personally feel attracted to hair, all women in the world, or all people assigned female at birth in the world, must shave and wax and all that from hair down, because their penises deserve to get what it wants. You know, it's this entitlement. What frickin' business does any assigned male at birth person, or even actually just cisgender heterosexual men, why do they have the right to tell women what to do with their bodies? Tell anyone what to do with their bodies? What makes them think that that's the right? The only thing that makes them think they have the right is the arbitrary rules that society have educated them with. They're arbitrary. It's based in misogyny. It's based in the idea that vaginas are purely made for penises, and that's it. There's no logic, there's no humanizing. It's ridiculous, because scientifically speaking, like, if you actually go down to the biological level, we're all human. Like, the differences between sex, the so-called sexes, even though it's blurry in the middle, are minuscule. We have all the same intellectual capacity. There are some variations, obviously, because, you know, tall people tend to be stronger and short people tend to be less strong. But that actually doesn't, it's all negligible. And yet there's all these people who arbitrarily have decided that their version of science states that, you know, people assigned female at birth are less, are not people, they're not humans, so how dare they argue with the great penis and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's just all arbitrary, the whole lot. Discrimination, hatred, it's all for arbitrary, stupid reasons. There is a lack of logic and reason and, quite frankly, kindness. There's all these people who lord it over other people, stand on other people, hurt and maim and bully other people. And for what? For their tiny little egos. Newsflash. Someone who is mature, someone who is secure in their masculinity, or their femininity, or just their identity in general, a mature, helpful, kind human being does not need to destroy another person or make another person not human to feel good. You know, us grown-ups, we don't need to destroy others to feel good. You know, occasionally being sarcastic is kind of fun. I'm susceptible to that, and I sometimes catch myself gossiping occasionally, but I try not to. But there's all these people in the world who don't even try. They don't care. They don't care that they're murdering people, or I consider rape to be a spiritual murder. They're doing all of these horrible things and bullying and destroying or trying to destroy other people for a dumbass thing, for a silly, selfish, illogical thing as feeling better, feeling superior. When the truth is, if you're secure in your identity, you don't actually need other people's opinions to function. I mean, or to feel good. You know what I do when I want to feel good? I watch the How to Train Your Dragon series. Fills me up with lots of warm fuzzies. I don't need other people for that feeling. And yeah, people are good. You know, you get your friends and you hang out and you do fun stuff and you make a nut of yourself. I love doing that kind of stuff too. But you shouldn't need to destroy others. You shouldn't need to put your foot on their face or turn them into a sex toy or bully them until they cry or kill themselves. You shouldn't need to do that to feel good about yourself. A good person does not destroy someone else so they feel good. A good person figures out how to feel good without hurting others. Or at least trying. At least not doing it deliberately. I mean, everyone hurts even their friends and their loved ones. Because, you know, people are selfish in general. Humans are quite self-focused. But there's so many people these days who are using arbitrary rules, arbitrary definitions, arbitrary labels and ideas that have no basis in fact or science or reason. They're just pissing on people so they feel good. Like, is that dude, Ben something. He's really quite famous at the moment, and he's a complete obnoxious brat. The first time I watched one of his videos, he talks at 1,000,000 miles an hour. He doesn't say anything, and any facts he uses are firstly not referenced, and secondly he takes them out of context, so they're not actually facts that support what he's saying. He's just talking over people until repetition and you know, it's like spamming. You know, his strategy is to spam the server until it crashes. You know, let's put out as many words as I can possibly put out and drag random things out of my brain and verbal diarrhea until the other person goes, boy, I've had too many words that I cannot think straight. You know, it's not, that's not what a grown adult, that's not how a grown adult debates anything. That's how a teenage bully debates things. And this dude's a grown-ass man with millions and millions of followers who think he's awesome, when all he is he's just a fucking bully. He's a bully. And people are calling him a philosopher. It's ridiculous. And I'm sitting here thinking, what am I missing? You know, I don't get a lot of stuff, particularly complicated social stuff. I often put my foot in my mouth, and I don't even realise what I've done. You know, I recently had a fight with someone, and I don't actually know what I said that was wrong, other than the fact that the other person flounced off and got all huffy. There's all this stuff that I miss I just miss, and I just, you know, when everyone else laughs, I'm like, why is that funny? And then I have to laugh because everyone else is laughing, you know, politeness. So there's a lot of stuff on the internet that I kind of watch and I go, okay, why is this funny? What does this mean? Why is everyone thinking this is brilliant? It comes off as sort of like an episode of Jackass, you know, and that's probably showing my age now. So I get that I don't get a lot of stuff. I get that I'm not wired the same way as everyone else, so what I view as important is different. But I don't understand why people can pretty much worship a bully with no actual platform, no actual intellect, no actual facts or data. I don't understand. And for a long time I thought, hey, I'm just missing something. You know, I miss a lot of stuff. But lately I've been like, no, maybe the world's just completely lacking in education, completely lacking. A majority of people who are allowed online, they're probably American, they just never learned how to question, they never learned how to research, they never learned to think for themselves. Maybe they're just, you know, no one ever graduated out of high school, you know? Everyone's still a jackass teen picking on each other and being cruel and haha, fart jokes, you know, just petty childish crap. Maybe that's the problem. Everyone's still a teenager and they haven't learned to grow the hell up. And I sit there and I'm thinking, they're going to look back on their past if they ever grow up and go, oh my god, I was such a dumbass. And I keep using the word dumbass. I'm sorry, it's such a great word. What I mean when I say dumbass is people who don't use the brains that they have. They're not thinking straight, they're not questioning, they're not using... I'm talking about normal, intelligent people, just probably discriminatory in some way, but that's the only way I can think of to describe it. Just people who should know better who don't. But I don't know how to describe that without sounding ableist. I'm still working on it. But it's like the whole world stopped growing up. And they're still at the silly fart joke phase, you know. I mean, yeah, I giggle occasionally when there's a silly fart joke. But it's like the whole world is fart jokes at the moment. Well, for the last, you know, since about a year before the last American election. It's just all bullies and bigots and people being vicious and cruel for no good reason other than, haha, my dick's bigger than your dick. It doesn't make any sense. And I used to wonder how I could sort of speak to that, and along with shiny cat ears, I'm actually coming to realise that they're not my audience. They're not the people I want to actually interact with. If they want to grow up and listen, sweet. But those people, that loud, fast-talking bully and the idiot that threatened me with rape for daring to tell him he was ignorant and poorly educated and a bigot, they're another species. We're not in the same world, at least perceptually speaking. They're the people that don't want to be good people. They're the people who want to feel good and look good and screw everyone else. You know, give me money, I'll sell my soul. You know, that kind of mindset. You know, they're a different species of people. And I don't actually need to... don't need to be anything other than myself. I don't need to care what they think. or feel about me. And back to the cat ears. I'm just sick of second guessing myself all the time. Oh, if I wear this thing that I really like, or someone says something shitty, you know, I wear pants all the time. Not because I necessarily like pants, although, you know, they're comfortable, but because I have really hairy legs. And because I have giant tits, I can't hide the fact that I'm assigned female at birth. I can't. I'm just female shaped, and I can't change that. And if you have tits and you have hairy legs, you get really shitty comments. And I've got really hairy legs. So I wear pants. I choose to wear pants because I don't want to get hassled. And I'm sick of living like that. I'm sick of not being who I am because I might get attacked or I might get teased or bullied. I'm actually sick of living in a world where people think they have the right to tell a grown person what to do with their body. Actually, in general, that people think anyone should, except that they should be able to just tell people what to do with their bodies. I don't tell rich idiots that they're wearing swanky shoes and stuff and they look like a snob. You know, if you did that with someone with power, they'll own you. They'll yell at you, scream at you, throw shit at you. They'll react really badly because how dare you, upstart poor person, tell a rich person what to do. You know, it's all this attitude of dominance and bollocks, and I'm sick of being what other people want me to be. And yeah, I'm afraid of attack. I mean, I'm relatively safe in the arse end of nowhere, but and I'm still terrified of being bullied and attacked and stuff. But I'm so sick and tired of it all. You know, I'm sick and tired of not being allowed to just be myself. You know, if I was at school and I came to school and, you know, on mufti day and wore, you know, boys' clothes and a sparkly cat ears, I would have gotten the crap beaten out of me. Because firstly, oh no, lesbian, because it was the worst thing you could possibly be if you were in the 90s. But someone presenting as male with cat ears? Oh my god. There's all these rules, and they're all arbitrary. Clothes are not gendered. Body parts are not gendered. Cat ears are not gendered. Colours are not gendered. We assign those labels. We randomly decide that cat ears are only for girls. We decided, we agreed, there's a mass delusion that pink means girls and blue means boys. These are all things that we choose to agree to. They're not based in fact. In fact, there were times when pink was actually a boy's colour. If they were universal facts, all boys of all time, in all cultures, across all of the world, would all wear blue. There would have to be a universal fact. But it's not. So it's arbitrary. We decide that this is what we want to believe. And the thing is, if it's arbitrary, why do we all agree? If there's a function I can understand, you know, like underwear. You kind of need underwear with different functions if you've got different genitalia. You know, I understand that. But when it's something silly like the side of the lapel where your buttons are, who cares what side it is? Why does it matter? Why does it matter so much that someone gets beaten up for wearing the wrong buttons on the wrong side? hairy legs, or daring to have tits and liking to wear a suit, or, people went completely bananas when women dared to not wear dresses, and when, skirts got shorter, and, in the 80s, if a man wore pink, he got the shit beaten out of him. And now heterosexual cisgender men wear pink without a worry. It's all arbitrary. It's all what we agree. It's all what we as a society decide is the truth and fact. I mean, even to the big things that a lot of people think are, facts. I mean, gender and sex are a perfect example, but it's kind of a dramatic example, and people get all pissy at me for that. Like toilet paper. Functionally speaking, it doesn't actually matter whether your toilet paper is over the top or over the bottom. Functionally speaking, you can roll it both ways. You can roll it and rip it off and use it. But everyone loses their nut if someone else dares to say the other way, the other way to what they think is the right way, is right. And they have arguments over toilet paper. Now, I'm not saying that people shouldn't have their own preferences. I prefer it going over the top. It's less likely to be on the floor if you accidentally knock it. So I prefer it over the top. But that doesn't mean everyone else should prefer it over the top. And the under is wrong. It may be, yes, it may be on the patent and all that stuff. But why are people so completely obsessed about something that's arbitrary? It doesn't actually matter. All it is a bunch of people arguing that their opinion is right about something that there is no actual functional right answer to. It doesn't matter which way the paper is. It works both ways. So ultimately, whether you prefer it up or down, it's not objective fact that one way is the only way. And we do that with everything. Makeup. The amount of bloody people, they do their nut over arbitrary things that don't matter, things that are illusions and delusions and ideas that don't have a factual or a functional truth. It's either or. It doesn't matter. Like bloody rugby teams. Who cares who wins the rugby? It doesn't affect the grand scheme of things. It's a game. But if I stand up, go into a pub and say, who cares who wins the rugby, I'm likely to either start a bar fight or get punched in the face, whether I'm presenting male or female. And people get so obsessed with their right ways. And when it's your personal preference, go hard, who cares? But why does our personal preference always have to be applied to everyone else? Why can't evangelical Christians just be happy that they have found the faith that they like and leave the rest of us alone? Why can't girly girls let butch girls be butch girls? Why do they just sit there and go, nee, look at that person, look at her hair, isn't she ugly? Why are we so obsessed with everyone being like we are? Why do I have to be like you before I'm a human being? Why? Someone explain it to me, because I don't understand. And I'm sick. In fact, I'm more than sick and tired. I'm not playing ball anymore. I'm not. Fuck it. I want to be who I am. If you don't like it, don't be my friend. Don't watch my videos, don't read my books, don't interact with me. It's called live and let live. I don't go around trying to convert Christians to my faith, to my religion, and I'd really appreciate it if other people could do the same. Why can't we just let each other live and allow that human beings don't have to be white and middle class and skinny and blonde and Christian with the newest car and the newest cell phone and the newest this and that and this and that and fashion and crap before they're allowed to be people. Humans are humans. We each should be allowed to just be a human without having to earn our humanness. I shouldn't have to be skinny or whatever, or rich or whatever, you know, all of those other definitions. I shouldn't have to be like you for me to be allowed to be a person, to be treated with basic respect, to be able to access my human rights, all of my human rights. I shouldn't have my human rights stripped from me because I'm not like you. Because, oh my gosh, my BMI is too high, or oh my gosh, I'm not Christian, or whatever. I've gotten so much abuse for being fat, so much abuse for not being a girly girl when I wasn't even a girl to begin with, for not being all of these things, for daring to own a vagina and an opinion. Oh my God. You know, we should be allowed to be equal. We should be allowed to be equally human without having to earn it by being clones. If the whole world was filled with white, middle class, or middle and upper class men, cisgender, heterosexual, white men, firstly, there'd be no one around to breed, and secondly, boring. Imagine how boring the world would be if there was no diversity. Imagine the problems would never get solved because everyone thinks the same and feels the same and believes the same and has all the same ideas. Human beings have survived for this long, not because of clones, not because of all being the same, but because we're all different. We all think differently. We all solve different problems in different ways. We all create different things. We all have different thoughts. Diversity is our survival, not uniformity. But there's all these jackass man babies, people who haven't grown up, who haven't gone beyond being a teenage bully, who don't understand that people are people whether they like you or not. Anyway, this video's gotten way longer than I intended it to be, and it's after midnight. Oh well. So I'm gonna stop ranting and take off my cat ears because the metal is giving me a headache. And say goodnight. Hopefully I'll be less ranty next time. Night night.